Hey everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kevin's Love After Lockup edition. Here's something new and exciting that has never happened before. Mary got caught up and she can't make it. Something came up. This is the first time that, sorry, I'm just muting myself. This is the first time Mary's ever canceled, so it must be serious. Hi. Hi, Mama says bad words. Yeah, so something came up and Mary's not going to make it. So you're stuck with me all by my little self. And this only happened to me one other time where I recapped an episode of Real Housewives of New Jersey by myself. And actually, that was the point where I roped Mary into being a co-host because I'm like, I don't think I can do this. Anyway, Mary usually does tons of stuff by herself, but I'm not quite as I don't know, confident as all that. Feels like I'm speaking to the void. But last time, to be honest, it was recorded and uploaded. This time I can talk to you guys via the chat. So feel free to jump in, ask questions, whatever it is. You've been dying for this? Oh, thanks, Lauren. So yeah, feel free to participate, give me comments. I'll do my best to get to pay attention to them as I recap the episode. So hopefully Mary will show up soon, and she might not show up at all, but I hope everything's okay. Anyway, I also mentioned in the beginning, my name's Brianna, and this is our Kiki and Kevin's Love After Lockup podcast. And tonight, the topic is season 4, episode 34, which makes no sense, WeTV. Your numbering mechanism is off. In fact, WeTV's season and episode numbering, it's sort of like the Dewey Decimal System, AKA I can't figure it out. Anyway, so it's episode 34, Ditched and Dismissed. So this was sort of an emotional issue, I feel. And I have lots of feelings about it. So let's start with Justine and Michael. So here we are at Michael's family reunion, and Justine is there and all of their kids, and everything's sort of going well. And then his friend Mocha shows up. The family could not be happier about that. So that was cool, except Justine was very upset about it because she felt this should just be family time. And I guess family is who you choose. It's not always who you're related to by blood. So I hope Justine that she I'm so distracted. Thank you so much. Mommy says bad words. I really appreciate that. Thanks for donating. And I see you, Capricorn 11. Yes, we are going to have another storm. What Capricorn 11 is referring to is the fact that half of my town just got pummeled by the ocean, and a lot of businesses are red-tagged, and my community's been very impacted, and it's super stressful and it's super emotional for all of us because I live in a tiny beach community. Anyway, but this is not about me. So Michael's mom takes Justine aside and goes through a whole litany of, I don't like how you raise your kids, and I don't want you raising my grandkids the same way that you raise your children. To which Justine takes great exception. And as a mother, I feel you, Justine. Ain't nobody going to tell me how to raise my kid. And it seemed like the grandma's, one of her big reasons was that Justine's daughter has tattoos. So I don't know. I got a lot of tattoos. I think we can do okay with tattoos, but I guess that's not the point. Grandmama didn't like it, and Justine was like, fuck you, my kid's an honor student and is doing great, so maybe her tattoos won't affect her lifelong prospects. And they don't, because I have 2 master's degrees and a good job, and I have tattoos too. Anyway, so they get into a confrontation, which is never a good idea. Like, having been married and am currently married, you don't want to alienate your in-laws. It just makes for bad blood, right? But I also don't blame Justine, because if you talk to me and say anything bad about my kid, there's a good chance that I will end up in prison because I will shank you with any available objects. And I've proven this reaction again and again. Don't fuck with my kid. So I don't like that they're already having issues, and I wish that wasn't happening. And also, the other thing that really stood out to me in this episode is that we don't know. Oh my God, thank you, Joan. You're the best. Why are people giving us money? This is awesome. It's more expensive to do this than you might guess. So I really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Justine says she's a medication technician. Does anyone have an idea what that means? Because to me, it kind of sounds a little bit like being a drug dealer. Oh my God, is Chaz here? Hi, Chaz. Let me know if you want to come up. I'm alone. Mary's not here, so feel free to join me, Chaz. Anyway, a medication technician sounds, I don't know, sort of like a drug dealer to me. I'm assuming it's not, but well, it said medication technician and entrepreneur. So that could be a drug dealing situation, but I'm not going to accuse her. And she seems like a lovely person, even though someone said we body shamed her about the cat suit, but we totally did not. We didn't body shame her. We fashion shamed her. And there's a big difference, because fashion is a choice. Just saying. Oh my God, Capricorn 11 is hostile. I'm not down with that. She's saying that if Chaz comes on, she'll leave. Unacceptable. Anyway, that's pretty much what happened. But what I will say is this. I went and watched some of his videos because I have like a low-key crush on Michael because he's so pretty and he has that amazing hair and beautiful smile. Like, I can see why she's very taken with him. And I don't just mean it's about the looks. He seems like a really cool dude. Anyway, I did go and look up some of his rap videos, which if you want to check them out, it's Montana Mills with a Z at the end. And I have feelings about this. One of my feelings is he can sing. There's no auto-tune going on, as I've noticed there is with other rappers we've had on the show, like Usman, who I love. And so, yeah, he can sing. That said, I am not down with his excessive use of the N-word, period. You can go look it up and see what you think, but that bothered me. Anyway, it seems like he's making amends with his family, and his dad says something which is very touching to me, which was, I couldn't go there. It was too painful for me to see you locked up. And as a parent, I kind of had to think this way. Catherine, stop. I had to think about this for a moment. And on one hand, I understand. Like, if my baby was locked up, it would be tragically difficult. That said, I would go there as much as I could anyway, because at least he'd be in one place. So I'd always know where to find him. So that's a good thing. Anyway, it's an interesting situation and we'll see what happens. But Michael, please stop using the N-word, because I find it to be most unbecoming of anyone at all. So there you go. So moving on to Monique and Derek. Yeah, by the way, mommy says bad words. I see this and I feel it. So let's move on to Monique and Derek. Now, this was something that it was uncomfortable. I guess that's the only way to put it. And I feel like Derek just drinks too much Red Bull. because the dude is fucking hyper. And I say that as an extremely hyper person. But this dude's like chugging Red Bull the whole episode, and he's super hyper, and he's making me feel uncomfortable. And I can only imagine that he's making Monique a little tired too. So that was interesting. But so they wake up in bed and they're talking about how good was the sex. Now, I don't know about you, but like I've never asked someone, so how was it for you? Because what if they say it sucks? Like, let's be real, there's always room for improvement in bed. So I felt like she was a little judgy. And I also feel like a lot of these cast members forget that this is being recorded and he's going to see that. So whatever. If they have the confessionals or the little interviews that they do, if they don't do it till after the show, then that might make more sense if they're broken up. But trust me, like I think reviewing your partner's abilities in public is tasteless. Not that this whole show isn't tasteless, because it is. So, and you ask your husband that, mommy said, fan words, you're crazy. Oh my God. Oh yeah, Jazz, or say you're like a butterfly. I love butterflies, just saying. But I get your point with that. Whatever. So he's like super, he's super impressed with her wetness. There's just so much wrong here. It's really bothering me. Like I can barely say it out loud with a straight face because it's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, so he gets a phone call and Monique's like, who's calling? Let me see your phone. Now, I don't know how many of you would agree with me or not, but the minute somebody be grabbing my phone and reading who called me, like, that's going to be a major relationship deterrent for me. You should not have to go through your partner's phone. And I've said this time and time again, don't do it. And if you do it, you're responsible for any fucked up feelings that you might have about what's going on. Similarly, don't read their journal. Like, you don't need to know what's happening in your partner's mind. And if you cannot trust them enough to believe they're not cheating on you, you're totally with the wrong person. And I say that as someone who has been with the wrong person, but also with the right person. Oh my God, is there drying? Oh my God. Oh no. Okay. I'm sorry that your fiance died, Brian. I really, really am. I just think, I don't know. Would you ask? Like, I don't want to know if it's bad. I feel like I'd know if it was good. Anyway, yeah, no reviews. This is not like a Yelp for sex. Can you please rate me from 0 to 5 stars on my performance in bed? I don't know. And I don't want to know anything except that I'm like a 10 out of 10 would recommend. Just saying. This dude's so hyper. Did I mention that? I feel like I mentioned that. And again, so am I. But this guy's like pathologically hyper. Anyway, so he wants her to take constant numbers of pictures of him, which I also feel very uncomfortable about. Like, dude, you ain't all this. But he's showing off his designer clothes. Oh my God, Capricorn 11. That is so generous. This is an amazing night. I think I made everyone feel sorry for me on Instagram Live this morning, so they're being extra nice to me. Or maybe they just feel embarrassed for me that I'm here alone. Either way, I really appreciate you guys. It means so much to me. Okay, I'm a little stressed out. I'm telling you, no, I've never done a live alone. This is the first time I've done a live alone. Mary does it all the time. Okay, so back to Derek and Monique. So she's taking tons of pictures of him, which he is apparently a little vain. They go to dinner. He orders all of the most expensive stuff on the menu. And she's like, that's a lot of food. And I don't know if you noticed, but she's a veterinarian office admin, like front desk person. So I'm sure she doesn't make tons of money. And apparently she's been buying him designer clothes and really expensive things while she buys nothing for herself, which is always a bad idea. And I'll tell you why in a minute. We'll get back to that. Meanwhile, she's like shopping at Kmart so that this man may have these designer clothes. And now she's got to take pictures of him. Maybe for his Tinder profile. Just saying. So I want to tell you this. It is a new year, 2023. And I do think you should lavish yourself. You should give yourself lots of self-love. And if you can afford it, buy yourself some nice presents. I think not only is it nice for you to be nice to yourself, Monique, but I feel like it also manifests really good things when you feel like you're worth something and you put that out into the world, other people react to you better. So I would like for Monique to take better care of herself and maybe a little bit less amazing care of Derek. Like, I think it's beautiful that you're taking care of him, but does he need all those designer labels? Because I feel like he doesn't. Just saying. So the bill comes out to $506. And I, in that moment, felt like, ugh. I don't know if you've ever had a moment like that, but I have had. Like when my stepsister got married, I took her and her new husband out to dinner, and I'm like, we can go any place you want. No problem. You just name it, and that'll be my wedding present to you. And I took them, they wanted to go to Morton's Steakhouse, which is expensive. And I didn't make that much money then. And the bill came and it was like $400. And I was like, trying to keep it together. Anyway, she was visibly shaken. That's what I'm going to say. And then he's like, he talks about his Cartier watch. And here to me is a very big distinguishing factor, in my opinion. If you can't pronounce the name of the designer that you are wearing, you should not be wearing it. So from me to you, Speedy Derek, it's Cartier, not Cartier. Just saying. Anyway, I do not have any Cartiers. I'm not trying to put on airs here. I'm just saying, if this is what you're going to wear, you should be able to pronounce that. So he says he wants to go to the casino, and she's like, with what, bitch? And yes, exactly. Self-care, Deidre. So Capricorn 11 can't pronounce Cartier. I feel like you can. Anyway, so he wants to go to the casino, and she's like, with what money? Because she just spent $500 on dinner. I don't know how you would feel in that situation, but regardless of what I had going on, I'd be like, feel like I was getting punched in the stomach. And also maybe she isn't giving herself enough self-care, and she doesn't have enough self-esteem that she can say no. But he's not all that, honey. So I feel like you need to wait on all this, and you shouldn't have to bribe your partner into liking you. Anyway, so let's move on, shall we? And Chaz, I did get your text message, duly noted. So let's move on to Eris and Cameron. So for those of you who haven't constantly been in touch with us on Instagram, which I'm not usually even constantly in touch with us on Instagram, this morning, Mary had put up a post taking a clip of a video from Cameron's site where he was telling off all the vloggers and saying essentially this: you wake up in the morning and you look at shit. I wake up in the morning and I see a lake and I go feed the ducks. You have to watch me, but I don't have to watch you. And I made a comment on that post, and the fallout was disturbing. I got destroyed by some freaking human who called me, or subhuman, who called me an alcoholic and pill addict. Now, I will admit, I take a lot of Benadryl for my allergies, but what kind of pills would he be talking about? And also, since Mary's not here, I will just put her on blast. She makes me play this drinking game. So anyway, I'm not doing that anymore. I find this to be a bad path to be on. So I can't stand him regardless of that video. Tell me, is there anyone here who thinks, yeah, this is a guy who I'd like to get with, even though he thinks that he's funny? He's the kind of guy whose idea of humor is bad puns. And to me, I really revere humor as one of the highest art forms, and I feel that puns are the lowest form of comedy. So you're not impressing me, sweetie. Also, I feel like you should clean yourself up a little bit because he's not even trying. And then the other thing that's really bothering me with a lot of these cast members is I feel like they treat the women there with like total objects. They're the human equivalent of Deontay's sex torso, named Nicole Jr. So I don't like that. And especially, did you notice he called himself, he said, I'm going to get with it like Rob Van Dam. And I was like, I think it's Jean-Claude, just saying, unless Rob Van Dam's the one, I don't know who they are. So correct me if I am incorrect, but I believe that's what he meant. My mouth just strikes. I'm so nervous, and because I took Benadryl for my allergies. So she's really sweet. Like, she seems super sincere. Like, she really loves this fool. And I don't know. I guess everyone needs someone who accepts them exactly as they are. I just don't like this guy, and I don't care. And he came after all vloggers. Like, you do realize that when we make fun of you, people who watch us go watch the show. And that means maybe you'll get to come back for another season. It's a whole symbiotic relationship. So we will always make fun of cast members. And if you cannot take it, that is a problem for you. But if you can take it and you can see past that, maybe you'll DM us, get to know us, interview with us, and you'll see that we're not total bitches. What we're doing is reacting to whatever's on the show. So if you act like a total asshole on the show, we're probably going to criticize you. But she seems very tolerant. Catherine says, this kind of reminds me of Indian Harry. Interesting. I want to hear more about that. She seems very sincere, and I feel like this is going nowhere fast, except rumors are, word on the street is they're married. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but like, girl, I wish you'd called me before you made that choice. I definitely would have talked you out of it. So let's move on. Unless anyone has something to say about this, I'll try reading the comments. Cameron is lame and his music is whack AF, says Lauren. I haven't looked it up yet, but I will say that the thread that evolved from his comment, somebody called me an alcoholic and a pill taker. So now I'm going to drink this half shot. Okay. And that's it, people. Okay. This next couple, I'd like to refer to them as bitch and fuckface because I don't like them. And I do not care for Gabby for reasons that have to do with the show, as well as reasons that have to do with real life. Trust me, we know her. And I don't know how Mary feels, but as far as it goes for me, I don't trust him. I don't trust her. I don't like her. I think she's a liar. And then I honestly don't like Chris that much either, for reasons upon which I will expound in a moment. She lies because every time she talks about the settlement that she got from this man, the number's different. Okay. And on a recent Instagram live, she contended that he was some kind of an unpaid volunteer actor and that they weren't really together. I happen to know firsthand that that is a lie. This is like, this is like Maury, and that is a lie. So they were together. That was a real relationship. Don't listen to anything she says because we've seen it going along. When I say we, I mean behind the scenes. Wait a minute. And I move my chair up so I look taller. Is that working? Do I look taller now? I'm not taller. So here's what my first problem was in this episode with Gabrielle. She was live earlier. I want to know about that, Brian. First thing she says is, are you talking to bitches? Does anyone else find this problematic? Or am I just old? But I find the use of the N-word and calling women bitches by default is not okay. Like, let's lift each other up, shall we? I'd like to keep bitch to when someone's being a bitch, which she is. She's fucking bitch all throughout this episode. For real. So she checks the phone bills and she's paid for his phone, and there's all these calls, and she knows he's talking to other women while he's in the halfway house, and she is not having it, which I don't blame her, but I don't like this. Are you talking to bitches? I don't know. I'm talking to you. You're a bitch. So yeah. And he says he's talking to people that he knew before he went to prison, but he kind of contradicted himself later in the episode. Did you notice that? Anyway, he doesn't like that she spent all this money on surgery and lip injections and eyebrow lifts and all these things. I'm all for the Botox and the lip injections, just saying, but really now she's like, what, 30? So he doesn't like that. Anyway, she's so mad at him. She's not going to go to pick him up in the city. So his mom and his mom and his sister, or just his mom, she takes him on the train, bus, plane, whatever it is, down to where you can catch the train to New Jersey. Which, having said that, I used to have to commute to New Jersey and New York all the time, and it sucks, and I hope I never have to do that again. So she's not going to pick him up. So rude. And I'm going to give the best line of the episode to Chris, where he says, like, I want to do normal stuff, like get into Bitcoin, which just shows you that, like, the news sources are bad in prison because Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, they're not doing that well at the moment. So, Chris, if you watch this, I'm going to suggest you go into something else, like, I don't know, customer service at Safeway. There are a lot of good jobs out there, but Bitcoin investing, not a good time. So the reason I'm pausing is because I really don't believe in appearance shaming. And I know there are tons more things to love about someone than their appearance. And it is not lost on me that I'm no model, but I'm just not sure what she sees in him. So he's out of money. So it's not money. He is getting out of prison and has no job. So it's not that. According to her, he's not like some magician in bed. So it's not that. Somehow I doubt they're having deep intellectual conversations all night. So it's not that. And he's not that attractive. So what is? But one cool thing or interesting thing to me when his mom, they're on the train, and she's like, well, we could just keep going on to the Lower East. And that's where I used to live in New York, on the Lower East Side, First Avenue between 9th and 10th. So I was like, oh, the Lower East Side, that's so cool. But he says, no, I'm going to New Jersey. So he takes the train over to New Jersey and he's waiting for her because she says she'll meet him at the train station. And she calls him and she's like, yeah, I was walking out the door and I don't know, decided not to come. Like, what a stupid cow, right? Like, it's just rude. I don't care where that man is coming from or what he did, but come on now. You just said you were going to meet him at the train station. So rude. Just saying. Anyone out Bitcoin, get a job, fool. I agree, Capricorn 11. He has no money to invest because he gave it all to Gabby to spend on her new Luke, which I don't know. Anyone got a vote on that? It's not that different, right? Like she doesn't look so different. And the vagina tightening. How much? Why do you need a vagina when you're a vagina? I know why she needs a vagina. Why does she need a vagina tightening at her age? Like most people who do that most women who do that have had a baby. That's why they do it because that shit's been all stretched out. But like, what's she been putting up there? I do not know. Anyway, he doesn't like it. And I don't like either one of these people, and I stand by it. So let's move on to Nathan and Skyler. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, Nathan is the guy who goes to the Shane Whitlow School of Facial Hair Grooming. I'm not dissing you, Shane. And in fact, Shane was super nice to me today because, again, my town was destroyed by tsunamis and not earthquakes, but tsunamis and major storms. And he was so kind to me. I'm just saying it's important to groom your beard in an attractive fashion. It's good to be a nonconformist though, but like this is what went wrong. I don't know if you watched Love in Paradise, but this is what went wrong with my little crush on Carlos from Love in Paradise was the handlebar mustache. Now Nathan doesn't have that going on, but like this beard, the way he's got it groomed, I am not down with that. So she's out of jail. And she shows up in the parking lot. I don't know what you guys think, but she is not what. Oh, sorry. I was about to approve your comment, Capricorn 11, and then I guess mommy's doing that right. That's why we have moderator. It's so cool. Oh my God, Auntie. Everyone's being so nice to me today. Thank you so much. I love you. And Auntie, my inspiration. Thank you so much. Anyway, beard trimming, do the beard trimming. So Skyler shows up and we find out a little bit more about her. So first of all, I'm not sure what you all think, but I found her to be much more natural and wholesome looking than I expected. But then again, when you get out of prison, you don't have like a lot of makeup on, you don't have any nice clothes. But then she explains to us that she grew up in this very affluent community, and her mom, you kind of get that country club vibe from her. So she's not. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of things that are not the same as this release. Like she comes out, like I said, looking very wholesome and natural. I feel like that's not going to happen. And we find out that that she was addicted to drugs and that at one point she was making 600 to 700 or consuming $600 to $700 worth of fentanyl a day. And she finds it amazing that she's alive. And so do I, because that shit is super deadly, like way, 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 way more than heroin. It's so intense too, that like I had it for a surgery, like a endoscopy. And they're like, it's twilight sedation. And meanwhile, I was like, can you please knock me out? Because I know I'm in a panic. They're like, don't worry, you'll remember nothing. And they gave me fentanyl and I remember nothing. That is a serious, serious ass drug. So, wow, that's a lot of fentanyl. Anyway, so her mom is it me? Because what I was hearing was her mom brought her something Chanel because she's like, is this real Chanel? Did anyone hear that? Wait, Lauren's saying Mr. No personality. This is kind of weird. Oh, yeah. And subscribe. Please give subscribe. I'm really bad at pitching and reminding people of things, but mommy says bad words. Please subscribe to our channel and please give this video a thumbs up. And if you can do the little alert button thing, that would be awesome too. So then you'll know when we're late to start streaming, which is often. So is her mom bringing her Chanel fresh out of prison? And if she is, I'm going to go out there on a limb as a mother and say, you're part of the problem. Because I don't think you should be giving your kid things like that at her age. This is not how we breed a good work ethic, just saying. And before you say, okay, boomer, I am Gen X, so screw off with that. But I don't like it. I think children should work. Anyway, he's suddenly worried that she is not who he thinks, that maybe she is playing, quote, jail games with him. Now, I don't know why that suddenly she's in his truck and he's saying that, because the last episode or 2 episodes ago, he's buying her a ring and stuff. So what is different? He sees her and he's like, oh yeah, I totally forgot that she's so hot and she's probably going to cheat on me. Or what changed? I don't understand. And I was confused. They go to a coffee shop and she's excited because prison coffee sucks. So to me, that means they're basically in hell. If you can't get good coffee, like what's the point of waking up in the morning? So she's super excited about getting good coffee. And I guess he spills coffee on himself. And unlike her, he is not dressed in Chanel. He's wearing like a white t-shirt and he spills coffee on himself. And it's like the world has come to an end. I don't know if you've ever had a partner like that who is just like that much of a, like, my fashion influences everything about how I feel. Like, dude, you're wearing a white freaking t-shirt. I'm sorry you got coffee on it, but I also feel like it's going to get better. And she's talking to the camera going, I didn't know why he was so upset. Like, he's acting weird. That said, I haven't spent much time with him outside of prison. And maybe he's just a grumpy bitch all the time. I really don't know. And I also don't know. But maybe we'll find out someday. Maybe he'll interview with us. And that's not like foreshadowing or like me leaking something. I'm just saying I would like to ask him many questions about his shirt. So he wants to get out of Marysville as soon as possible. And I was like, oh my God, is that Marysville, California? Because that's near me. Not really, it's like 4 hours away. But I guess it's Marysville, Ohio. So I don't know if that's a good hood or bad hood. And he gets her home to grandma's house. And I didn't realize that was his grandmother's house until this episode. Did you? Because I was unclear. It just seemed like that was his house. So I don't know. But she's at grandma's house and like grandma's got super creepy dolls and shit. And she's like, I can't live like this. It's so chaotic and so filthy in here, which I understand because it was kind of a hot mess. And those dolls were super creepy and probably haunted, just saying. So I don't blame her, but she's also being a little bit snooty. I mean, she just got out of a cell. You would think like, okay, well, I have a house now and I can probably do something about this, but she's not like that. So he's watching the signs of how she's doing and he's not feeling it at all. And he's just in a snit, this dude. So it's funny because the first few episodes, they portray him as this lovely, patient, sincere man who's madly in love with his ex-friend's girlfriend because I feel like he has a really unrealistic idea about who she is. And in addition, it's all based on appearances as well. And this never goes well. Like, don't base your relationships on appearance because there are a lot of ugly women and men who are awesome partners. Maybe you know one, just saying. So I feel like he's all about her because she's pretty, which she is. But I'm sorry, honey, you better find something more important than that to like about her, or this is never going to work out. And for the record, I feel like this is never going to work out, right? Nothing. So that brings us to the end of the episode. And now I'm going to look at your comments and see if there's anything cool to talk about because I couldn't do all this by my little self. So I'm gonna scroll back and see if anyone said anything interesting. Because they're all interesting. Let's see. Cameron is lame and his music is whack AF. I just want to know if anyone here has as much of a crush on Montana Mills as I do, despite his excessive use of the N-word, which I find highly offensive. Joan had told us, just catching you up, that she is eating puffed Cheetos with a fork so her keyboard does not get all dusty orange. That's creative. I would never have thought of that. So take a lesson from our friend Joan here. Gabby sucks. That's what mommy says. Bad Words says, you are so right. And seriously, with inside information, she sucks even more than she looks like she sucks. Fuck you, Capricorn 11, saying I'm an alcoholic, maybe a pill pop, maybe not a pill popper. Like, that's not cool. And it's like I drink on podcast night, so sue me. That's like after I finish all my freelance work. Screw off, all of y'all. So nobody likes Gabby. Thank you, Joan, for playfully spanking Capricorn 11, because I've had enough for one day, seriously. And I agree, T, Gabby on TV is an immature, dumb brat. I don't know if that is how she is in the real world. Well, allow me to enlighten you, because I actually know her in the real world, and Mary knows her even more in the real world. And yes, she is that immature and that much of a dumb brat. Not kidding you. This one is not somebody you want to hang out with. Catherine says Gabby's a controlling little troll. That's super funny. What else do we say here? And I agree about Bitcoin not being the best job. What else? Keeping it real. Okay. Be safe. Thank you for saying that, T. I hope my town, the destruction is over. I appreciate that. What else? Seems like it. That's it. Oh, Mary Pam says, I felt bad for her because she kept on asking him, are you mad at me? I know. Don't be so fucking passive aggressive. That's I would like to say that to a whole lot of people. If you have something to say, just say it nicely. I was talking about a friend of mine who he was a friend of mine for like a decade. And then one day he just stopped talking to me. And I don't know why. Like, we didn't have an argument. We had nothing that seemed to happen. And I had a dream about him, which is why this is coming up for me. And in my dream, it was like we were best friends again. And it was like none of that ever happened. But when I thought about it in my waking life, I realized, like, just say what's on your fucking mind. If you care about someone, you can work it out if you talk about it. But by just being a grumpy motherfucker, like, and acting out, nothing's going to change. But Then again, it might be his insecurity. He feels like she's too good for him, which I don't know. I think neither of them are too good for the other. I feel like they're perfect for each other. And I agree, he was acting weird. So yeah, Janet's Planet, say what you mean and mean what you say. And Diva Savage, no idea if she was wearing the ring. I forgot to notice, but I will tell you, if Mary was here, she would know. She pays laser attention to all those things. And I watch it really late at night and I just don't like catch the small details. All right. So that brings us to the end of the episode, unless anyone has any more comments. And all I would like to say is most of the couples on this season are super unlikable, although I'm still enjoying it. But a lot of them really suck. Like, I'm not feeling it. And it's especially some of the men. Although I just love Mike. But it's just because he's so pretty and I'm reducing him to nothing but his looks, which I just said was a bad thing. Anyway, I can objectify him because I'm like twice his age and am married, but I have no other thoughts about this. I look forward to next week. And wherever Mary is and whatever is going on, I hope she's doing okay. To all of you who tuned into my highly emotionally charged Instagram live this morning, bless you. That was very, very kind of you. And thanks for being so supportive towards me. And I hope you have a great week. Still, Happy New Year to you. And I hope you will. What happened to Chelsea? I don't know. I hope you'll subscribe to our channel. We're better when Mary's here. So give it another chance and then do that whole subscribe and alert thing where it tells you when we're on live. I hope you have a beautiful week. Lots of love, big hugs and kisses. And see you back here next week. In the meantime, you know Mary's going to be doing all of her spilling the tea videos, the word on the street in 90-day oy vey. And she just started this great gossip rag publication where she's killing it. She's writing like 3 articles a day and she's just killing it. In 1 month, she's had like 10,000 views or something. And she's just amazing. So please support her. And her site is wordonthestreetreality.com. And in the meantime, I suggest lavishing yourself with self-care and taking excellent care of yourself. And we'll see you